Drummond Island Dogman, chapters 12 through 14. Chapter 12. I flung the sheets away, nearly throwing them off the bed. My feet hit the carpet, and in an instant I was at my closet where I fumbled for the light. I found my slippers and hastily pulled the sweatshirt over my head. I might look silly wearing pajama pants and a sweatshirt with a college emblem on the front, but I doubted anyone was going to see me in front of our house at 1 o'clock in the morning. I hurried out of my bedroom and through the murky darkness of the hallway. The only light came from the faint glow of the nightlight in the bathroom, but it was enough for me to find my way without smacking into a wall. In the kitchen, we have what Dad calls a junk drawer. It's just a lot of odds and ends that don't have any particular place. The drawer is cluttered with keys, slips of paper, a few receipts, small tools, a half package of gum, a bottle of aspirin, pens and pencils, a half-squished tube of glue, and about a dozen other various things. And a flashlight. I pawed through the jumble until I found the cylinder-shaped object about the size of my fist. Light burst forth, and I followed the beams splatter on the carpet as I hustled to the garage door, through the garage, and into the front yard. Again, cold air washed over me. It wouldn't be long before our entire yard was covered with several feet of fluffy white snow. But not tonight. Tonight the cool grass was wet and squishy, and I swept the beam back and forth, left to right, up and down, searching again. And there was the noise again. Swish, swish, swish. It was coming from behind the shed. I remembered the tracks Delaney and I had found at the pond earlier that day. I remembered the scary feeling of being watched by some unseen predator and the very real sense of danger that made me pull Delaney to the side-by-side and flee. It might have been a wolf, Dad had said. That would be bad enough. But deep down, I knew Dad was wrong. The tracks we'd found didn't belong to a wolf, I was sure. So what kind of animal made them? What kind of animal was making that strange noise behind the shed? Most important, where was Hops? Was I too late to save him? I rushed forward, my slippers sliding on the dew-covered grass. The wide beam of light settled on the short growth of pine trees at the side of the shed. Shadows crawled. Hops, I called out. Swish, swish, swish. I reached the shed door and shined the light behind the structure. There was a movement near the back wall of the shed. Before I could move my light, before I could train the beam on it, the beast attacked. The only thing I glimpsed were two horrifying, glowing eyes as they came directly at me. The flashlight was knocked from my hand and went out. I stumbled back, tripped, and fell, helpless and defenseless, to the cold ground. Chapter 13. I hit the ground flat on my back as I drew up my arms to protect my face. The fall had knocked the wind out of me, and I struggled to gulp in the cool air as the monster... Monster? No. The beast that attacked me hadn't been a beast after all. It was a very large bird. An enormous great horned owl. They hunt at night, and although they're not often seen, they're not an uncommon bird on Drummond Island, or anywhere else in Michigan for that matter. They can eat just about any animal they can overtake, including rats, mice, voles, even reptiles. But their favorite food is... I quickly rolled to my side and pawed the grass until I found the flashlight. I clicked it on and leaped to my feet. Rabbits, I thought, the horror hitting me like a football linebacker. The favorite food of the great horned owl is rabbit. Hops, I called out, frantically sweeping the beam across the grass in the side of the shed. Where are you? I was overwhelmed by relief when I heard the shuffling sound and saw a twitching nose pop out from the small space between the shed and the ground. Hops emerged with several quick bounces, stopping at my slippers. I bent down. Oh, man, I said, gently scooping up the rabbit by the scruff of his neck. I held him in my arms tightly to my chest. I thought you were a goner. Sorry I left you to fend for yourself. I returned the rabbit to his cage and closed the shed door, still in disbelief. I had been lucky. Great horned owls are perhaps one of the best, if not the best, nighttime predators around. Rabbits are easy kills for great horned owls, and it was only by chance that Hops had somehow escaped capture. I doubt the bunny knew how close he'd come to being owl food. But the great horned owl wasn't the only predator prowling nearby, lurking in the shadows. I didn't realize I wasn't alone until I heard a twig snap. Chapter 14. The smells of night filled his nostrils, and although most would say the night was quiet, the inhuman beast's acute sense of hearing picked up many things. The breath of a mouse, the crawling of a shrew, the sound of a television over a half-mile distant, sounds that could never be heard by human ears. A ruffle of wings, a frantic scattering of leaves, more fluttering. Another predator was at work on patrol in the silent, mystical hours. Dogman waited in silence. More fluttering, not far away. He heard the terrified, high-pitched squeal of an animal, a rabbit perhaps, and then more fluttering. Nearby, a frantic scattering of leaves and small twigs. The creature was close to the commotion. A large bird had been hunting from the sky, swooping down, closing in for a kill. And then another sound. A click and a swish. A small light. Soft, hurried footsteps on grass. The beast's ear stood straight and stiff, his senses on high alert. A scent came to his nose, familiar, delicious, tantalizing. The smell of a human. The light came closer, sweeping all around. Once it was aimed directly at the beast, but he knew that he was hidden a safe distance away. Crouched in the shadows of the thick branches, leaves, and pine needles, he could not be seen. But he could see. He could watch. He saw the small human cry out during a mash of chaotic sound and confusion, and heard him fall to the ground. The light faltered. The beast's heart hammered, and he nearly sprang from the shadows, knowing he could easily overtake the human in his moment of weakness. But he waited. The creature was, above all, cunning, smart, intelligent. He knew when to strike. The small human stood, and the light clicked on. The night was silent. The beast crouched in his hiding place, haunches tight, muscles ready, brain engaged, shifted his weight the tiniest bit. A small, dry twig, no bigger than a toothpick, snapped beneath his foot.